My name is Miley. I'm a visual artist from the United States originally, specifically from the South. Louisiana is the state that I kind of grew up with, and later Mississippi. Well, there's two main materials, surfaces, that I like to do. One is just paper, like this one behind me, and then the other is this drafting film, or mylar. Those are in the same family. And the reasons for the two are that the paper, like this thicker paper, is kind of like you used it in a larger piece, and it feels like heavy, and it's got this great, surface, but it's also heavy feeling in the space when you're standing next to it. It feels like a sculpture, possibly. So the paper is for that reason, and then the plastics, like the drafting film, are great with ink because the ink sits right on top of the film and really glides really easily, and that's why architects and designers used it in the past and also the see-through aspect. You can see through it, and you can layer the plastics in the film. For some reason, I like to think about the piece a long time before, not a long time, but a good amount of time before I start working on it, just because I want to confidently hit it really hard. Like I've been some artists talk about pacing in the gallery, like you're waiting to get the nerve, I guess, on the end, and then really attacking it. And then sometimes you're in a different mood and you want to just work on small details and just kind of get lost in the small, tiny details. So it's a mixture of moods that you go through in the studio, and that's what's fun about some of these larger pieces, is that you can, if you feel like you want to really use your whole body and attack something, you can use your full arm motion and or splatter and things like that. So that's kind of fun, and then you can also go and just take your time, put your headphones on, and do some smaller details, which is fun. So a big part of when I was getting more serious about fine art was just doing a lot of reading on mythology and reading about structures of stories and kind of universal archetypes and stories and the psychology behind it. So there's a lot of things the art students read, in that phase, and some people you come across, like Joseph Campbell, who's a writer about mythology, and really was kind of an inspirer of a lot of people, even inspiring, not a lot of people know this, but he inspired Star Wars and George Lucas for writing Star Wars, so it's really the myths I go back to, because they are fun, number one, because they all kind of have these similar characters and similar stories that happen, and there's a structure that you can see if you look at it from above, and then you can get really weird with it. And the best art, in my opinion, is when you mix the weird with things from reality. What I'm trying to do with this work is, in the newest series, is create my own kind of lexicon or structure of characters that I'm dealing with, and I want to have 60 or 70 paintings in this series that deal with this kind of story structure that I'm dealing with. So it's, but it's not it's not like I'm building a graphic novel. It's more like I just want to reference certain parts of the story and things like that. But that's where I came in with the myths, I think. Like in this piece behind me with the female character there, I've got a lot of things happening. It's a very busy painting. One of the elements is the female figure coming more into form, and the other one's kind of being more abstract and kind of almost disappearing. And I like that play between showing something almost sculpturally 3D and then becoming loose lines, and because that's dealing a lot with that becoming undone I was talking about, and some of those archetypal characters of destruction and creating gods and things like that, which I don't take literally. I think I take as metaphors for kind of psychological and emotional things that happen in journeys and in life. It's its own animal. It's its own beast. Louisiana, it's its own state, I would say, in the U.S. The mixture of landscapes with the bayous and the swamp cypress trees and the moss hanging, you get this very picturesque easily icon-like images that people use in movies and things. So you immediately associate that with the Old South, and in the U.S. it's called the Old South. So what's that like? For me, I have this kind of romantic idea about the landscape because I love it. I think it's beautiful, and it's got these rich darks and rich life happening, and it can be used in different ways. I would say one of the most contemporary ways that I like to point out is True Detective, that TV series that just came out, I guess it was 2 years ago, and filmed in southern Louisiana, showing the landscape, hearing the people speak. It feels like you're looking at something old in the forest, and there's something about that if you break down really simple, something old in the forest sounds like something very emotional, and that connects to Sweden, I would say, too, because people have this strong connection about old things in the forest and in the woods, and this very primordial kind of something's out there, kind of thing, and it's all kind of different associations. But for me, it's just a strong landscape, and that kind of creates these emotions in me, and that want to make art about that landscape and about the characters that I see in my head and walking around in that landscape.